everybody. What the flick? William Bibbiani here with Meredith Placko, and we are talking about the second season of the new series of The X-Files. This one's called Founders Mutation. They used to have more clever titles.
I feel like they did.
They used to have really enigmatic titles like Paperclip. Like, what did that have to do with anything? I think there was a Paperclip. But here, this is about Founders Mutation, which is a thing. And this one is, if we have to admit, because we were really hard on the last episode, because it warranted it, this is at least an improvement.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if that's an improvement because the first episode was so bad, but I think I can find some things to enjoy about this
at least feels like a real X-Files episode, but it doesn't feel like a great one.
I yelled at the TV less.
It's frustrating because there's only 6 episodes of this season, and the first 2 episodes are kind of But let's really get into this. So Mulder and Scully, they are back on the beat. Apparently, you don't need to go through any new training or anything if you haven't been part of the FBI in about 12 years.
I don't even know if they're technically part of the FBI or if they're just like consultants. I mean, who knows?
I would actually be fine if they were consultants. That would actually make more sense, but whatever. Yeah. Okay, so they go in to investigate. A guy heard this crazy, and then he killed himself, and he was like, find her. And they're like, oh my God, well, we should do all this stuff. And then it turns out that Mulder and Scully have sort of found their way into a young adult book about twins, like the Wonder Twins have been separated at birth, and they're trying to stop their evil, working for the government, genetic mutating father, and also William.
And also, I mean, this is a great classic X-Files setup. I really, I really love that. And you know, it's cool that we're bringing William back into play.
Is William? Here's what I wonder, because William is kind of the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
William is the child that Mulder and Scully kind of, sort of had together. They don't want you to think about it too much, but they need to acknowledge that he exists because he'd be 15 now.
Yeah.
And so we see that there's an episode that's about kids that gives Mulder and Scully an excuse to talk about William. That's really the main reason why this episode is
but it also kind of draws into the larger plot line that they established in the first episode, that, you know, there are these human alien hybrid babies that the government has been possibly having a hand in, and could William be a part of this experiment?
Potentially, yes. And that's okay. And that's interesting. But what I found myself really distracted by, we have 2 dream sequences in this episode. One where we see Dana Scully fantasizing about raising William, and the other one where we see Fox Mulder fantasizing about raising William. In both of those fantasies, they're single parents. Yeah. I was just like, wow, that's interesting. I thought they were friends. You'd think they'd at least like be roomies or something. It's just like, no, in my fantasies, Dana Scully is nowhere near that kid.
That's so, I find, they're just going to retcon that romance that all the fans wanted right out of existence.
X-Files depends on you having a really hazy memory, and then if you have any sort of specific memory about something, like, again, the cigarette smoking man really dying, like the second time, you're not going to enjoy it too much. I wonder sometimes if this is a show or a franchise not unlike Star Wars, where maybe the original creators no longer have their finger on the pulse of exactly why the fans like it anymore.
Yeah,
and maybe a reboot would have been better.
Yeah.
But whatever, we need to really focus on this episode. So, I mean, there's a lot of incidental cuteness in this episode. We've got Mulder's homosexual panic scene, which is kind of funny for a moment, and then you think about it, and it's like, it's really not that clever.
Yeah, it's really not.
They have that bit where Mulder has that piercing, pain in his thing, and Dana has to like cover for him with all the cops, and then she only asks him about it the next day.
Okay. Like, you would think she'd be more concerned in that moment.
Right away, you'd think that would have come up.
No. But that just shows their general lack of concern for each other, I suppose.
Yes, I'm really not feeling much of a connection, and if that's the plot, fine, but we need to get there.
Yeah. I think it's funny for so many of the overall plot about the Founders Mutation and the 2 twins finding each other, it was actually some of the more subtext and the subplots that I found more interesting when it comes to the human-alien hybrids, because when they had to test some of the DNA and everything, we find that Scully has this alien DNA.
Why didn't the DNA test work the first time? Did the government screw it up, or did she just have an incompetent assistant?
I don't know. I feel like it was hidden. I feel like I almost thought she had known, and I thought it was a ploy, but again, it was that lazy lack of storytelling.
There's these weird lazy moments. There's a scene in this episode where Mulder and Scully visit the founder. By the way, they built up this founder so much that like, oh, the founder. No one
Yeah.
talks to the founder. And then we just cut to them talking to the founder with no.
I know.
It took me 2 scenes to realize this was supposed to be the founder.
Right.
Because he was just some guy.
Yeah, so like
He's not behind a desk. He doesn't swivel around.
No.
Like, I know you've been
I thought
investigating.
he was going to be
the
like in this
mutation.
pristine way. So I've been playing like Fallout 4 a lot, and there's like a similar character, and I thought it was going to be more like the head of the institute, and I'm like, this guy's boring. I don't know. This isn't. I mean, he doesn't strike fear or intelligence into my heart.
Well, he's not even like subverting it really.
No.
The show needs to just forgets that it was building him up.
Yeah.
But for me, the scene that just really just doesn't work in this episode, and it's a little scene if you think about it. Mulder and Scully go to the founder's wife, who's been institutionalized, and she's just sitting there kind of glassy-eyed, and they say she hasn't said anything for 10 minutes. And then there's really dramatic incidental sting music for a cat walks in the room, and then she looks at the cat, and she throws something at the cat, and now she's talking. It's like, we just needed the cat. And then she says, well, I won't talk about my husband, but I'll tell you every single thing about him.
And also, why is there a cat in a hospital?
It's one of those doctor cats.
Sure. Oh, you mean the cat itself is a doctor?
Sure, why not? Well, it's
it
the
is
X-Files, but like, no, it's a cat, makes you feel better. It's like,
it's like a therapy cat. But still, I just thought it was random. I'm sorry, I'm nitpicking the episode. Anyways, yeah.
Well, that's fine. That's our job.
Out of nowhere, she suddenly decides to spill her guts because she had a visceral reaction
broke
to a
her
cat.
out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so random.
Like
that's
she should have seen. Like she should have seen something that actually triggered her that made sense. And again, this goes back to last episode where I feel like they keep building up these like non-connective pieces of a puzzle that only makes sense in the writer's room, but they're trying to throw everyone viewing the show off the trail that we can't ever come to our own conclusions as to why any of this makes sense.
Exactly. Or even just like, again, the show is built around the idea of being enigmatic and built around the idea of there can be no evidence for these things. And they're trying so hard to do that that it stops. There used to be a satisfaction to the non-ending of an X-Files episode. It was just like, oh yeah, no one will believe Mulder and Scully, but oh man, they're out there. Here it's just like the Wonder Twins find each other.
Yeah.
They like, have a sonic
boom.
And then they're just gone.
Yeah.
There's not like a thing where you see them like driving away. There's no like sense of dramatic conclusion to it where, we're not done yet. But like at the end of Home, one of the best X-Files episodes ever, the bad guys got away and everything, and there was the sense that there will be more to it. Here it's just we forgot to come up with a good ending.
Yeah, but hey, we got another episode next week.
We do. Well, this week now because we were late.
Yeah, it's true.
Sorry about that.
But you know what? It's a monster episode.
It's a monster episode. It's supposed to be a funny episode. We both really want to like the X-Files.
We do.
But the X-Files actually has to do the work. So we'll be back later this week with the review of the next episode. So please stick around and hopefully it gets better from here.